That should be it. And welcome, everyone. Hello. Hello. Oh, it's working. It's working good. Right. Okay. So, welcome, everyone. Welcome to this live stream. Happy Halloween, all of you. Happy Halloween. I say hello to everyone in the chat box. I should put these on, shouldn't I? Hello, Aziraphale. How's Crowley? Welcome, foolish mortals. Hello, Pat Riot. Rhiannon Raven and Red Snapper. Welcome. Happy Halloween to you all. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to this 2024 Halloween live stream. I've done a few of these. I mean, Halloween is my favorite time of the year, definitely. As it is for most sort of weirdos. Let me just see how many Halloween videos I've done. How many Halloween videos have I done before? I've done quite a few. Yeah, I did one in 2020. Oh, that was when I dressed up as David Icke. I'll just show you. Let me just show you this. Yeah, the 2021 is when I dressed up as David Icke. This is me. Here's me as David. That was my Halloween costume. That's my daughter's house. That's my Halloween costume when I went to her party. I look more like a sort of elderly Rick Mail there, don't I? That's me dressed as David Icke. It was last year's, of course, 31st of October. Last year, that was the most recent one. I did one in 2021. And, of course, there's this one. Oh, and I did one in 2016. This is Halloween and Ouija. Oh, that wasn't a live stream. But this is where I read out my short story Ouija. Oh, and I did Ghostwatch 30 in 2022. The Ghostwatch was actually Ghostwatch was actually a watch party. I remember we did, and we had like, I'm sure there was I think I might have just done the live stream. It might not have been a full watch party, but I've got a video banned. All right, okay. What else was there? I think that's it actually. Yeah, that's it. But anyway, welcome all of you. It's good to see you. See how we are living. Hello, how are you? See how we are living. She starred in one of my, see how we are living. It's really strange, mate. It's really strange because you actually, you don't appear. You don't want to appear, but you actually are featured very briefly in one of my videos. It's my Anthony Peake book launch, and Anthony actually did comment on that, which is cool, which is really great. So welcome. See how we are living. And we have here Sparkicus. Hello, I am Sparkicus. No, I am Sparkicus. We're all Sparkicus. I'm not. But hello, how are you all? Welcome. See how we are living. It's great you caught a live stream, mate. It really is. Thanks very much. I caught Ashton Forbes live last night. It was weird because of the time change. He's currently streaming an hour earlier. So I managed to catch him. I caught him live two nights running. Probably I had to go to sleep soon after the show started, but still. But great to see Rhiannon Raven and Aziraphale and Pat Riot. How are you? Aziraphale. By the way, when I said how's Crowley, that's a reference to it's very rare you get a good TV show these days, but Good Omens is a really, really good show. It's really very, very, very good indeed. But I hope you're all doing well. Red Snapper, do I do music? Yes, I do. Not on, and only privately, not for public consumption. Oh, I think you're addressing Rhiannon, right? Yes, I think you're addressing Rhiannon, who did actually provide the music for. I did credit her actually. She actually did provide the music for my live stream intro, and it's also the same theme tune for my reply to comments videos. So yeah. Now, someone posted a comment earlier. I don't know who they were. It's disappeared, which is annoying because they posted a comment earlier and it's just vanished. But it was before. It was like for some reason just vanished. If you post a comment too early, it just vanishes from the live chat. So it's better to put it underneath the notice where I'm more likely to see it. But if you're posting before the live stream starts, because it's not I didn't delete it. It just sort of just goes away. It just vanishes. Hello, Welsh Ripper. How are you, Welsh Ripper? You are the real Welsh Ripper. Yes, you are. I'm sure the police have been after you for ages, haven't they? So yeah. So what we have is somebody posted a comment asking me about this ghost story from the London Underground, and unfortunately the comment vanished. So if you are listening live, could you please repeat your comment? Because you put it in about 12 hours ago or so, and then YouTube just deleted it, which is really annoying. But I want to do some ghost stories this particular Halloween video. So, firstly, the first thing is the Kennington Loop. I had all the details here a while ago, but it's gone now. There's something a bit spooky. Do you know the Kennington Loop is actually there's a underground station. I'll just look it up again because I had my notes open. I went and shut it. But there's a video called Ghosts of the Underground, because the underground is very, very special. It's it is extremely rather weirdly haunted. There's a lot of haunted ghost stories. Now there's the Kennington Loop. Now you probably don't know what the Kennington Loop is, but if you head up to if you're on the London Underground on the Northern Line is the deepest line on the Underground, or at least it is in places. For example, I think when it gets to Hampstead, I think it's like 260 feet down or something, which makes it the deepest line on the Underground. But the Kennington Loop is at Kennington Station. You should be able to see all this. And this is fascinating. I mean, the whole London Underground is amazing. I mean, there's been several horror films set on the London Underground. The most famous was, of course, American Werewolf in London. You know, I shall report this. I think you should know I don't find this the least bit funny. Oh my God. Yeah. It's the London Underground on Kennington Park Road in Kennington in Southwark, served by the Northern Line. The next stations are the Oval that's where the cricket ground is. Let's just find it on the London Underground map, I think. It makes it easier to look at. But the Kennington Loop is not part of the passenger network. Some people have ridden on it by accident or design. But it's simply a turning circle. It is simply a turning circle. That's all it is. So my nose itches when I'm talking. I either cough or my nose itches, or I sniff. So it's one of those or the other, you know. So let's have a look. Can you magnify this? Here we go. Somewhere on here, Chalk Farm, Camden Town. Oh, it's in Southwark, so it'll be sort of this area. London Bridge, Borough, Elephant and Castle. Here we go. Oval. There we go. It must be there. That's Elephant and Castle. Kennington. This is it. You see, it's like a double station there on these two different branches. Do you see it there right in the south where I'm pointing now, where the cursor is? Now, the Kennington Loop is literally this. It's a turning circle. Let me just go to the images. It is literally just this turning circle here. It goes, come on. One moment, guys. My browser has to catch up. There we go. So it's literally just the train goes from one area, and you see there's like some points there, and it goes in at turning, and it can turn around and come back the other way. So a train that is southbound on the Northern Line it's the same train will suddenly come back and be the northbound line. And here's a diagram of it from above. It goes round there and it comes back up again, and it stops again at Kennington Station. It's the same train, only it's northbound now. You see, and there's another diagram of it. But it's actually it's not something, there's the normal track going along there. It's not something you can ride on. And what they do is when you get to Kennington and the train terminates, you have to, there's an announcement, please all change, please, this train terminates here. Now, a couple of guys like this bloke here fell asleep. I'll come on to this article, actually. This bloke here fell asleep on the train. And it's just, I won't read this out for you, but this guy fell asleep and he found himself going around the Kennington Loop. He says, we found a slightly befuddled Jeff Parsons on the loop one day. He's a sort of Bill Murray on Groundhog Day. He arrived at Kennington. He's about to arrive there again. Seems it's, I didn't know the train terminated at Kennington, and he goes round this tunnel, and And he says, yeah, a gruff driver's voice, overall safety messages, who advise any person still lingering on board to make their error known. We'll be back at Kennington in a minute. If there's anyone still on here, please don't pull the alarm. Don't do it, because it just goes around a circle and comes back. Now, some drivers, some people do it on purpose. They'll hide when the train stops and they'll go round the Kennington Loop. I don't think it's really strictly against the rules. It's there's no real harm in it. But it's not a passenger route. The passenger's supposed to be off, and the driver takes the empty train around the loop. So it takes a couple of minutes. It's not long, as you saw on the map. But no paranormal sightings in the Kennington Loop. Some people, especially people interested in ghosts, do ride the Kennington Loop deliberately. And you couldn't see any of that because they didn't have it on screen share. Oh, wonderful. Oh, blimey. Here we go. Anyway. Oh, dear. Where are we now? Let's greet the new people. Red Snapper. I'm not going to answer questions like that now, Red Snapper. Hello, Johnny Fettler. How are you? And David. Hello, David. How are you? Hope the sky watching is going well. I suppose I'll just show you the article, all right? Because I didn't. Oh, here we go. This is the article anyway. Right, this is the guy who was trapped on the Kennington Loop, or he just sort of like was lost concentration or dozed and ended up on the Kennington Loop. And I'll show you this. I was just showing it you from above here on the map. So there's the map of it. It just goes around like that. If you happen to live in one of these houses, it's right underneath. It goes underneath your floorboards. No, probably you can't hear it or see it. You can't hear it or feel it because the Northern Line is very deep. I don't know exactly how deep at that point, but I know at Hampstead it goes down to quite a level, so it goes round there like that and comes back. There are trains that continue southbound, but that's the Kennington Loop there. There we are. Facebook, the Sinister Kennington Loop. There's a Facebook group called London Sinister. Wow. And here's this. Yeah, see, this is where it branches off that way. Yeah, but apparently there's loads of ghosts are seen there on the now. Ron says here, Ray Leonard. Hi Ben, can I be your conference taxi driver? Oh, by all means, if you feel like it. Oh, Rhiannon says am I late? I'm not late. I'm on time. Well, have you all been able to hear me? You have been able to hear me, haven't you? I bloody hope so, because it says I'm live. Diane Abbott is a fighting name everywhere. I hear it, I get a shiver down my spine. I don't think Diane Abbott's up to much fighting, I mean, I think all she's good for now is retiring, and I wish she bloody would. Have you noticed how she's very quietly been given the whip back? They very quietly brought her back in again. I mean, they won't put her on the cabinet. She's back on the Labour bench now. Anyway, Ray, to answer your question, and I love your avatar. I'm a big Death Wish fan. I love the Death Wish movies. I can't watch them too often because they're so violent, but I like the character, and I like what he does. I like the ethos of the whole thing. David Schultz, happy belated birthday. Was it early October? It was the 13th, David, so not long. Just a couple of weeks ago. Thank you very much. TK, does anyone know Roger? Roger from... Is that Roger from Paranormal Radio? He's there. Oh, right. Ariana says, no, Ben, it was my fault. I was waiting for it to start automatically, so I didn't have to refresh the screen. Apologies. No worries. Yeah, it doesn't always start if you keep the thing open, unfortunately. 69 Phuket. Oh, hi, Ben and all. Boo! It's Halloween, isn't it? Yeah. Anyway, for Hariana, we were talking about someone left a comment earlier on the live chat, which was then deleted because Facebook does that, YouTube does that sort of thing. Asking, but I do remember what he said, and I made a note to do it. Ask about the ghosts on London Underground. Red Snapper says, is Michael Winner your favourite ever director? No. I do enjoy the Death Wish films, although I can't watch them too often because they're just they're emotionally overwhelming. They're a bit emotionally draining. Pretty horrible, very violent films. But I like the character. I like the idea of somebody who will just basically because it's just so topical. Because there's that classic line about the in one of the scenes where this couple are attacked and they're going to be killed by these thugs, and Kelsey comes up and shoots them. And when the police turn up, they give a wrong description, and they say to the copper who's saying, "Look, you're not helping me very much." And he says, "What do you mean not helping you much? This man came and saved our life while you were out checking parking tickets." And today, I assume they'd say they saved a life while you were out arresting people for mean tweets and that sort of thing, putting people in jail because they shouted at a policeman, that guy died. He's apparently suicide. Apparently, Red Snapper. Do you ever watch Winners Dinners? No, I don't. Ray Leonard said, "We spoke years ago. I was heading down to Stonehenge at the time you went down." Oh, cool, Ray. Well, Ray, I see so many people. David says here, "I love your conference videos. Are there any conferences you'll be attending during the remainder of the year, Ben?" Yes, David. I'm glad you asked. But the Basis Christmas Bash is on again. 14th of December. I'm going to it. I'm not speaking. At least Miles hasn't asked me to speak yet, but he always knows I'm available. If I sort of consider myself a permanent backup speaker. So if someone pulls out, which they probably will at some point, I'm happy to replace him. And don't make a speech about Roswell again, Ben. I won't do that. Hey, Hugo Rune is here. How do you do, Hugo? Welcome. You may be interested to know that portrait of you on the side of the container in the park is still there. If you watch my Oxford graffiti videos, remember someone drew a portrait of you. Peter Lynch. Yes, say his name. See how we're living. Say his name. 64-year-old grandfather locked up for he called a policeman scum or something like that, which is rude, but it's hardly a jailing offence. I mean, in the old days, if you used to do that, the policeman would give you a warning. He'd say, "Look, don't call me that, or it's a public order offence." But and then the worst you'd get after that is a fine. But no, they've dragged him off and put him in jail for 2.5 years. Hodianon says, "Ben, will you say women and girls in your feminist voice, please? It'll cheer you up. Cheer me up. All right. Women and girls." Hope that did the trick. Yeah. Anyway, this guy wanted to know about ghosts on the underground. We're going to talk more about ghosts tonight because this is Halloween. By the way, for those of you, I should point out now to give you a bit of a preview, just in case some of you go away. There's upcoming events. Of course, we've got the US election on Tuesday. I will be doing a number of live streams, including probably a joint YouTube alt tech double bill. Looking out for, I'll probably post a notice in the next day or two. I'll do my usual sort of drunk running commentaries well on the night. So that's my plan anyway. So just to let you know, that's what's coming up next. But there's someone asked me about ghosts on the underground, and there's loads. I mean, there's this page here provides 11. Is that person here by any chance? Hello, Crafty Nihilist. How are you? Thanks for joining me. Get your red cap. I will. It's possible I will be doing a live stream on Saturday evening, but I will not do it. Probably it's about maybe 9:30 or so. So the crafties can do their usual Saturday night bash. Hello, Corsitus. Corsitus, that sounds painful. Hello there, Ben. I hope all is well from Norman Fran. Norman Fran. Oh, man, do I know? Who are you? Sorry. Norman Fran. Rings a bell. And Hugo Rune, of course, has his spliffs in the tin. TK. Ben, did you ask that lady out on a date yet? Oh, which one? Sorry, TK, because I've been flirting with a couple of people, I've had a couple of irons in the fire, hoping I can get an iron into her fire. Sorry, that's rude. But no, I do flirt with women sometimes. So which one do you mean? I mean, there's a couple I quite like, women I quite like. So I don't know which one you mean. Enlighten me. I wouldn't date more than one at a time. So I'm not that kind of guy. I don't date more than one at a time. Oh, the lady in Tesco's. Yes. I saw her again. Oh, the lady with the boots. Oh, right. Yes. That's Yes, that's someone I won't name her from the conference. Yes, that's the boots thing is a bit of an in joke. I don't think she was offended because I don't think she got it, but that's a lady I'm quite keen on who sometimes speaks at conferences. Yeah, but yeah. Any port in a storm as well. I'm not in. I'm in a dead calm, mate. No storm. It's a bloody dead calm for me. Um. Oh, that's a wicked rumor. Tint crafty now. It's a wicked rumor. All right. Right. Where was I? Hello. Oh, we have here. Oh, that's a great name, Francine Rydach. Is that Welsh? Rydach or Ruddock? And we have Nathan. Hello, Nathan. Didn't realise you were on. Happy Halloween, brother. Happy Halloween, Nathan. I'm going to tell the same story I told on the stream we did with Chris in a little while. David, it's your Halloween special. Are there any real witches during the present day? Yes, there are people who are like neo-Wiccans. See, if that Yank in Vegas was interested in you. What, Michelle? I think Michelle. She's very nice, Michelle. Yeah. I think she's got a husband, but she's a lovely lady, a very, very interesting lady to talk to as well. I saw her again at some Contact. She was at Contact, but I didn't get the chance to film her. I don't think. TK, isn't it Halloween tomorrow? Yes, it is. Except I assumed the reason I'm doing this the day before is I assume it's like my New Year's live stream. I assume everyone tomorrow will be doing other things, watching horror movies and drinking rum punch and things like that. So I'm going out trick or treating, which is why I do it the evening before. Yeah, Rhiannon Raven. He started chatting her up in the queue for 10 items or less. That's right. Unfortunately, because it's only 10 items or less, it was too fast moving for me to really move in there. But yeah. Oh, Francine, you and I are friends on Facebook. I've spoken in the past. All right, Francine. Oh, great to see you. Great to see you, Mark. Oh, on the subject of Scotland, do you watch Steve Marsh, the travel vlogger? He and his wife went to Bonnie Bridge and Decmont. I mean, I didn't know he had an interest in that sort of thing, but he did. I love this guy. He's a brilliant. I really like this guy. Let me just show you him. Let me just show you because he's a really, really good. Here we go. All right. I just love watching this guy's videos. I didn't think he was one of us. Here he is. I didn't think he was one of us, but he is, at least up to a point. He basically just films himself traveling around places. He's a very successful travel vlogger. He does a lot of ferry boats and things like that, which I particularly like. This is a very good one. Probably the best ferry in the world.
Clubcast?
Oh, bloody. Hang on. I'll just go straight to, I'll tell you what, I'll just go straight to the video in question. Where is it? No, not that one. Where was it? Here we go. I couldn't believe it, right? More UFO sightings than anywhere else on Earth. We camped there in winter. Welcome to Bonnie Bridge. It wasn't winter. It was, well, I suppose by Scottish standards, it was winter because it was March. And there was some frost and things. But anyway, it was...
Anything is possible.
That's his wife, Irina. She's... They go UFO spotting. I can't believe it. Oh, any more than that, I'll get a copyright strike. But yeah, you don't know. Oh, he's really good, Francine. Ruddock is my married name. Unfortunately, no lovely Scottish accent here. Oh, okay. Not everyone who has a. Not everyone who has a. Oh God, Crafty's been looking at my porn list. Oh dear. It's not porn, but it's just videos I like. Oh, Nathan's horror movies. We'll come on to that. I just wanted to. Well, we are rambling a bit as we tend to. You might have to remind me of that. Yeah. Richard D. Hall. This is about someone's informed about Richard D. Hall. He's lost the case, which unfortunately, yeah, he was found guilty. Which unfortunately is not. It's unfair, but not surprising. And I'm sure this is not going to be the end of the matter, but. Anyway, Steve Marsh, check him out. He went to Bonnybridge, which is the site of the flap in the 90s, and of course Decmont Woods, which is where a guy called Robert Taylor had an encounter with a large spherical object that ripped his trousers. And I've seen the trousers. I can put my fingers through the holes where Ray Leonard. No, he's not gone to prison. No, Ray. He's not been convicted. He's not been convicted of anything criminal, not yet. But he has been sued. It was a civil suit by the claimants, the people who say they were in the Manchester Arena incident. Yeah, so no prison, but they I don't know what's going to happen now. The judge has got to decide on damages and things like that. But anyway, he's not giving up, Richard. He's not doing an Alex Jones. He's not sort of like taking the knee and apologising. He's still defiant. So good for him. Well done, Richard. Okay, so yeah, I've seen the trousers, Robert Taylor's trousers, heavy duty work trousers, and there's holes ripped in them, really big holes. The skeptics think it was thorns, but no way is it thorns. No way is it thorns. They also claim that Robert Taylor had hallucinated because he'd been poisoned by belladonna. The thing that there's two problems with that. Firstly, belladonna doesn't produce berries in that time of year. It was November. It stops producing berries in the autumn, early in the autumn. Secondly, Robert Taylor wouldn't be stupid enough to eat belladonna berries. The people most likely to be killed by belladonna are children, because the berries they're black, sweet berries. They look like black currants, and some kids mistake them for black currants and eat them and die that way. David, why don't you set up a UFO paranormal conspiracy Tinder group? You never know, pal. Hey, maybe that's an idea. Right. Maybe you can share a cell with Tommy Robinson, both political prisoners. Yeah, although Richard, I mean, I wouldn't like to say he'll never be accused of anything criminal, because you know what, the government we have now, give him a couple of years, and we will. I mean, I could end up in jail. You could end up in jail for watching this. I mean, yeah. Anyway, Ghosts on the Underground. Yeah, I do get there eventually. Yeah, here we go. There are 11. I found 11 ghosts. This person, I don't know where this person is who posted it earlier, but Sarah Whitehead, the ghost of the Kennington Loop. There you are. As I said, William Terrace, the girl on the train, children of World War II bombings, Amun Ra, not the big atheist bearded guy, the disaster victims, workers in white overalls, the man in the peak cap, Anne Naylor, the old woman of Aldgate. Sarah Whitehead. In ancient times, the city of London had 109 churches, each with its own burial ground. Bank Station in the heart of London's financial district was built in the middle of the graves. The Bank of England was built on the site of a church here, with the graveyard of the church becoming the bank's garden court. All of the lost souls that prowl bank, though. It's the ghost of Sarah Whitehead, or the Black Nun, that's best known. Sarah's brother, a clerk at the bank, was hung for embezzling money. My goodness me, they'd all have to be hanged, wouldn't they? I'm sorry, I'm not going to get political tonight. Yet even after his death, Sarah would return to the bank searching for her brother. And here we are, the ghost of the Kennington Loop. I don't have to read this, but basically, to this day, I mean, if you watch that video, it's Ghosts of the London Underground. I wish I could show it to you, but I'd immediately get a copyright strike. This is a very interesting documentary. Yeah. Oh, so this is a different copy of it. I like that. There was a scene where they go around. The drivers say, "I get a chill when I go around the Kennington Loop," and that could be because it could be just simply because they're on their own. They're actually on their own on the train. So when the driver is most isolated, there's no passengers. There shouldn't be. Legend had it a man was electrocuted on the track in the 1950s. Oh my God, on the loop. If you happen to miss your stop on your way home one evening, you could end up riding the Kennington Loop. But be warned, this is one section of the London Underground that even the drivers refuse to ride. Well, they don't refuse. They can't refuse because they've got to turn the train round. But they do get a chill, apparently. There's other weird things that have happened. I'll go into other weird things as well. Let me just do. I'm going to make a note, otherwise I'll forget. Here we are. Just make a note. Yeah, book. There we go. All right, I'll come on to that in a minute. Some of you may know what I'm talking about there. The Girl on the Train, William Terrace. The Girl on the Train. Delianne, the Girl on the Train. Yeah, that's as the train approaches the Elephant Castle on the Bakerloo line. This is not the Northern line now; it's the Bakerloo. It's the same area. Drivers report seeing a young woman getting on the train, but they never see her again. When they hear, though, there are running footsteps and tapping noises and the slamming of doors. It is the infamous infrasound that the London Underground is known for, emitting sound below the range of human hearing and believed to cause all manner of unpleasant effects on the human body, from disorientation to nausea. Or is it the Girl on the Train? Yeah. Now, this is a common thing the skeptics say. They say, well, the whole thing is there is a lot of it. There is infrasound on the London Underground, in very, very low frequency sound. And we know from experiments where people have been subjected to very high amplitude infrasound, very loud sound, which you can't hear it because your ears can't pick it up because it's below 30 hertz. It's like, but it has an effect on you. It has an effect on the brain, which can cause hallucinations. And some people say, well, lots of ghosts happen in places where there's infrasound. And like we've heard a lot about infrasound for example, oh, Rhiannon, there's lots of woo-woo ladies out there looking for husband. Well, that's good news. I hope I find one soon. Well, I have to really look for one, don't I? And stop not making any effort. But see, infrasound is caused by the movement of the trains in the tunnels, but also by wind. There's a lot of air circulation in the tunnel. You may have heard it because the trains are only just big enough to fit down the tunnel. So when they're approaching their station, you get this piston effect, where the air is pushed literally in front of the train and out through the tunnels where passengers walk. You may notice when you're walking along a train on the underground, along the passageways, or on the platform, you suddenly feel this very great burst of wind, really strong wind. It's hot too. It's hot, usually hot air because it's compressed. Because it's ahead of the train, you get a katabatic. It's called a katabatic reaction, which is where the air actually warms up. You see the same thing. Like if you pump up your bike tire, the tire feels hot. If it feels hot, it's because the air is compressed. The heat in the ambient heat in the air is then forced into a smaller space, so you get more of a thermal impact, if that's the word, thermal pulse. So yeah, which is why when eventually it cools down and you release it, it's very cold because then you get the opposite effect. So with the trains, you get like this hot blast of warm air comes out the tunnel. You must have seen this if you've been on the London Underground. Now. And there's also that air actually causes infrasound, just like it does with the wind turbines. But you see, I don't believe that accounts for all these encounters. It doesn't. It can't. It may account for some feelings of disorientation and hallucination, but we know the entire ghost phenomenon is sometimes explained by skeptics in that way. And people like Susan Blackmore and Deborah Hyde at the ASAP conference have often said this. See how we're living. I hate debunkers. You know what? See how we're living. I don't. As long as they're polite, I don't mind them. I quite like Frenchie. Chris French. I quite like. And I met Brent Lee a couple of months ago. I went to the London Fortean Society, and Brent Lee was doing a talk, and I met him, and we had a good conversation. I only don't like them when they're rude and aggressive, and a lot of them are. I know. Yeah, they are. And any new people? We got Rick Horden. Hello. Happy Halloween. Oops. Happy Halloween, Rick Horden. How do you do? And Lance Corporal. Welcome, Lance Corporal. How are you? Hope you're doing all right. Thank you for archiving Oxford Graffiti. Oh, you're welcome. I really do like doing those videos. I'm making a new one now because I found some more. DJ B2, hello. Let's go through some more of these ghosts. There's ghosts, children of World War II bombing. Amun-Ra. Okay, I don't need to show you this. The ghost of Amun-Ra is believed to be a cursed mummy from the British Museum at the Aldwych Station, formerly known as the Strand. That's actually a ghost station. It's been shut down. I know that station. I go to it quite a lot. The Holborn Station. Holborn Station. Oh, Holborn Station is where the secret base is supposed to be. Do you remember? I went looking for it at that time. Do you remember? Amun-Ra is also this atheist guy as well. He's this atheist skeptic guy. The disaster victim. Oh, the King's Cross fire, 18th of December 1987. A massive fire killed 31 people. The ghost of an inconsolable young woman reaching out for help has been seen since then on King's Cross. A worker in white overalls. Built on an ancient burial ground, Liverpool Street is one of the most haunted of London's tube stations. Said to be played by a worker in white overalls, the ghostly apparition appears at the station as if on his way to work, wearing his overalls, carrying a box of tools. When Liverpool Street was being updated in the 2000, the worker in white overalls was apparently captured on CCTV. Yet when the Underground star went to find him, he'd vanished into thin air. Where's that tape? Is it on YouTube? I'd love to see it. The man in the peaked cap. There are hidden tunnels and passageways that no one knows anything about, disused but still there. One such tunnel can be found at South Kensington on the Piccadilly line, built to house a new section of the line, later abandoned. And it is at South Kensington that a man wearing a peaked cap is seen clinging to the side of a steam train coming into the station, and the sound of a loud whistle. Highgate's scene of the abandoned Northern Line extension is said to be plagued by non-existent trains. Anne Naylor. The 18th century was a grim time in London, especially for the poor. Anne Naylor was a 13-year-old orphan who was as an apprenticed hat maker, and her daughter Sally. Treated appallingly, Anne was starved, beaten, and eventually murdered by Sarah Metard. That was her boss, being dumped in Chick Lane. It was here in Farringdon Station, and people can hear the screams of the young girl. And the old woman of Aldgate Station, believed to be built on the site of a plague pit. The mass burial ground. Yeah. They came across a plague pit when they were building the Elizabeth line, and they had to check it was decontaminated first. Oh yeah, so there's quite a lot of ghosts on the underground. There's other weird things on the underground as well. There's a film. Oh, what was it? Again, I'm making notes as I go along. There was this film. One sec. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Deathline. I don't know if you've seen this. I watched this. By the way, I say hello to new people who's just joined us. Where are we now? Oh, 69 Phuket. Old of Witch. Yeah, hey, 69 Phuket. How are you doing? Sega Saturn, welcome. How you doing? We've got 42 people watching. That's great. Tika, how come the pusher didn't push you in, Ben? I guess I was lucky. I never encountered him on my brief daylight sojourn into the darkness of the Manchester canals. Yeah. Grot bags terrified me as a child, said Sparker. Oh, she made me laugh. Sega says, my original Facebook account was hacked. I requested to join your appreciation group. Jamie. All right, let me just check, Jamie. One sec. I've got another admin on there, so they might have added you. All right, sorry if I don't always check, actually. I'm sorry, but I'm sorry your account was hacked. Let's have a look at members. I have an appreciation group on Facebook, believe it or not. Oh yeah, I'll show it to you briefly. I don't want to show you too much on my Facebook, but yeah. I did not set this up myself, I should point out. Right, I haven't got any. Right, I haven't got any. Let's have a look. No new people wanting to join. No. Okay, so that's okay. Colin, this guy's dead. I should unban him, really, shouldn't I? Oh, well, anyway. Yeah. Yes, it was Cottager's Cove. If you haven't seen them, watch the video. If you haven't seen it, it's the QED one. See how you're living. Yeah. All right. So Deathline. This film, Deathline. I don't know if you've seen this. It's 1972 British-American horror film directed by Gary Sherman. Starring Donald Pleasant, Norman Rossington, and David Ladd. All right. Yeah. This is about it's a film about a group of. It's in some dark. What happens is there's sometime in the 19th century, some workers were trapped in the underground while they were building it, and They got here we go. They got trapped in the Victorian workers constructing the tunnels under dire circumstance. An urban legend that a group of they got trapped down there and they survived an 1892 accident and still live below ground. Meanwhile, one of the last surviving members of the family. Yeah. And they basically, rather than they resort to the ways they've lived underground generation after generation for so long that they've lost the will to leave, and they start preying on the passengers. They snatch passengers late at night on dark platforms and eat them. But I've watched it, but it's really horrible. It's a horrible. It's gruesome and it's violent, but it's also very upsetting. It's heartrending. It's horrible. It's a horrible film. I couldn't watch it again. It's a really, really horrible film. It's if you've never seen it, I wonder if it's on YouTube. It used to be on YouTube. I actually watched it on YouTube, I think. Let's have a look. It is. Here it is. There's Donald Pleasant's Deathline. Here we go. Oh, it's got Spanish subtitle. Here we go. It starts with this sort of sleazy kind of guy. I remember.
Payment on delivery, my darling.
All right, he's this rather sleazy bloke who hires a prostitute. Yeah. What's the name of that actor? He's very good. I remember him well. All right. That's enough. It's a horrible film. I think it's a good way. It's probably a good Halloween movie actually, but it's violent and cruel, and it's upsetting, and it's if you're empathic like me, it's very difficult to watch. If you're not empathic, it might not bother you, but it did me. It really did. It's one of these horror films where the monsters, that is the cannibal monsters, they're not like the bad guys. It's rather like that film. There's another really horrible film. Is another one, a cannibal film. It's Cannibal Holocaust. That was the one where the director and the writer and they were all dragged into. They were arrested by the police because they thought they'd really killed people while making it. Again, it has these kind of anti-hero type characters. Yeah. So I mean, even though these films are horrible, they're the sort of thing I could only ever watch once. Really, I wouldn't watch Cannibal Holocaust again. It's got lots of animal cruelty scenes in it as well, lots of real animal cruelty as well. Pat Wright, I was cheering on the baddies, not an empath in me. Well, sometimes you see, if you are empathic in some films, I find I do cheer on the baddies. Like when the first time I watched Jaws, I was a bit too young to watch it. I was cheering on the shark. I wanted the shark to eat them all because I thought they were horrible for trying to catch the shark. David Schultz says here. Types of hauntings: residual, poltergeist, demonic, intelligent, interactive, and the shadow people. That's right. Yeah, there's what they call the stone tape ones. That is like that's the Roman soldiers going through the cellar where they appear to be just a three-dimensional image. They don't actually interact with you. It's almost like you're watching a 3D movie that somehow, through some mechanism we don't know, is somehow recorded something from the past. Poltergeist, of course. Well, poltergeists differ from other ghosts in they tend to focus around a particular person rather than a place. Very often it's a teenage girl or a girl aged about 11 or 12, a girl in early adolescence. A demonic, yeah, that's intelligent, interactive. Yeah, that's a ghost. It actually appears to be a separate entity, which is not just an image. It actually responds to its surroundings. And the shadow people, the things you see out the corner of your eye. I'd add another one, David. The other one I'd add is immersive. This is where the witness actually, rather than a ghost appearing in a particular real life spot, a person finds themselves in a ghostly environment. This happened to me. This happened to me very briefly at a basis conference. I talked before about the time slip I had. Turtle soup, yeah. Oh, Rick, it's disgusting. I couldn't watch that film again. There's a lot of violence against people on people. Torture, mutilation scenes, but burning people in their houses, that sort of thing. But there's also cruelty to animals as well. And you know that. But it is a sort of social commentary, I suppose, because you see, it's the original found footage horror, but the film crew go into the jungle to film these savages, these violent savages. They become savage themselves. They kind of become monsters themselves, and they start behaving exactly the same way. I think there's some kind of social commentary there. I don't know. Lance Corporal, any Oxford ghost stories? Yeah, loads of them. Yes. Hello, Hugh. How do you do? Do you remember that demonic dwarf woman in a 1980 film? Or maybe that's my imagination. I don't know. It sounds like a couple of my ex-girlfriends, Hugh. Lance Corporal. Blackbird Leys is always scary to walk around. Oh, you know Oxford. Blackbird Leys has actually become very gentrified in the last few years. You would be surprised, actually, how upmarket it's gone. Dark Skies. Yeah, Nathan, that's a good one. Bryce Sable wrote that, yeah. David. Here's a new one. Ben Subscriber's Confession Corner. About 10 years ago, me and my missus went to Skipton in Yorkshire. I was convinced this was a village where there was a witch's cave. Oh, right. Did you find the witch's cave? Maybe there's a village that sort of appears and disappears, like Brigadoon. Do you remember that film Brigadoon? That's set in Scotland, but it's about this ghostly village that appears and then disappears. Lance Corporal. Blackbird Leys will always be scary to me. Oh, it's if you got bad connotations from there, it's actually it's gone soft, really. I think in the last few years. But where was I? Yeah. So there was that film, Mother Skipton's Cave. Oh yes. Oh right, David. Yeah, that's she was the prophet. Yeah, the famous prophet. A bit like that. What's her name? That lady from Bulgaria. Well, that was Russia. See how we are living. How do I get rid of black-eyed kids on Halloween? Have you had some? Oh, just don't let them in. I mean, what will happen is when one knocks on your door, you'll open it, and they'll say, "Could I come in and use your phone, or can I come in and have a drink of water?" And you will feel a mixed. What happens is I described this in my story actually. There's a scene in one of my stories where there's these black-eyed kids. Where is it? I'll show it to you. Here we go. Let me just show it to you. Here we go. But what's it? How do I do it? I need to find a proper search. Hang on, I'll just go back off screen share for a moment. I think it's chapter 1. It's in the Obscurati Chronicles. I think it's chapter 1. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I'll be with you in a moment. Yeah, here we go. It's easy because I put illustrations in this. Look, this is it anyway. This is the Obscurati Chronicles Chapter 1. This is a serial. It's an online serial I'm writing. I'm writing it very slowly, as you can see. This is 2019. I don't think I'll ever publish this as a book, but here we are. Bing bong, the doorbell rang. Robin stood up and started walking over towards the door of the lounge when he froze. He almost yelped aloud as an inexplicable and sourceless wave of terror flooded over him. He stopped dead in his tracks. Bing bong! Robin trembled. His sudden attack of fear confused him. What the hell's the matter? He mumbled aloud. Bing bong! There was a shorter pause between the second and third ring than there was between the first and second, as if the caller was impatient and their business urgent. Robin had to force himself to move. He entered the hallway and stared at the front door ahead of him. Through the panes on the door and around the frame, he could see a small, slender human figure distorted by the frosted glass. Robin's hand shook as he reached for the latch to open the door. He fought the powerful urge not to open the door, but rotated the latch and pulled. A boy of about 10 years old stood on the doorstep. He had scruffy black hair and wore a nondescript faded blue jacket and wool trousers. His skin was very pasty white, and his face carried no expression. It took Robin several moments to notice something very obviously wrong with him. His eyes were completely black. Not just in the sense of a black iris, but his entire eyeball, everything between his eyelids, was a featureless black empty void. Robin froze and stared. "Can I come in, please?" the boy said. His voice was flat and monotone, almost mechanical, like a musical instrument of iron. "Can I come in and have a drink of water?" Afterwards, when Robin was remembering this incident, he had trouble recalling and understanding what went on in his mind at that moment. As his eyes met the black voids where the eyes of the boy should have been, his willpower diverged into two separate forces, each motivated differently. One side of himself felt a deep sense of sympathy and pity for the child, a longing to invite him inside and give him whatever he wanted. The other felt an overwhelming and incomprehensible horror, disgust and repulsion. These two temporary distorted manifestations of Robin's consciousness battled each other inside his brain. "Can I come in, please? I need to use your telephone. It won't take long." The door felt as if it weighed 10 tons, but Robin managed to get it shut. As soon as his eye contact with the boy was broken, so was the strange mental spell he was cast under. He ran into the kitchen and screamed aloud with terror. He blundered straight into the table, bashing his midriff, and turned around, pressing his back to it. The shape of the boy through the frosted glass of the door was still visible. Robin's heart thundered in his chest like a pile driver, and his breathing came in gasps. After a few minutes, he saw the shape of the boy move away from the door. Robin slowly tiptoed into the front lounge and peered out of the bay window. The boy was still there. He was outside the house, uncertainly walking away down the street. The moment Robin spotted him, the boy turned his head and stared back at Robin, even though it should have been impossible for anybody to see anything inside the unlit room through the Dutch crocheted netting. Somehow the boy sensed Robin's eyes on him. Robin screamed again and pounded upstairs to his own bedroom at the rear of the house. He slammed the door and leaned against it. For a few minutes, he just stood there, panting and weeping with fear. Every time he thought of the face of that little boy, he almost yelled aloud in fright again. He half expected the child to burst out of the wardrobe in the room. There you go. So, if you want to read, like I say, if you want to read this, it's on Ben's bookcase. There you go. There's the URL. It's completely free for anyone who wants to read it. Sounds like a Labour voter. Hello, Ferdy. How you doing, Ferdy? Nice to see you, mate. Have you won any money lately? Oh, it's Roger who does the betting, doesn't he? With Rhiannon. So yeah. That account in that story, it's just fictional. I made it up. It's a part of the story, but I took it directly. It is creepy, isn't it, Rhiannon? Yeah, it's. I took it directly from David Weatherly and his study on black-eyed children. Right. Yes, Aziraphale has asked a very good question. Have there been any reports from those who did invite black-eyed children in? The answer is no, and that should worry us. In fact, who asked how you keep them away? Somebody asked how you keep them away. That's worrying because it means possibly that those who did let the children in are no longer here to tell the tale. Ooh. Yeah. So that's it. That's a good question, Aziraphale. One I'd have asked. Yeah. No, there's no reports of anyone who let the children in, which means the only people. So presumably they're survivors. Perhaps people did leave them in, and they just didn't survive to tell the tale. Something terrible happened to them as a result, and they're no longer around, either dead or disappeared. All right. So yeah, David Weatherly, who studies the black-eyed kids. I mean, that's a good Halloween thing a good documentary to watch tomorrow night on Halloween. This is the reason I do. Like I said, the reason I do these. I'm doing it tonight, not tomorrow. Not confused with the Black Eyed Peas. Black Eyed Children, yeah. Right. Underneath the bridge downtown. Dun, dun, dun. I've got the Black Eyed Peas on the mind now, haven't I? Oh, no, sorry. That's the Red Hot Chili Peppers. What am I talking about? Oh, the Black Eyed Peas sung that other really good song, wasn't it? What's that song by the Black Eyed Peas? Stop diverting. Here we go. Yeah, contemporary a contemporary legend of paranormal creatures, pale skin, black eyes, seen hitchhiking or begging, and encountered on the doorsteps of residential homes. Yeah, and that's kind of what they look like. This is probably going to be quite skeptical because it's there's a horror film about them. Oh, a horror web series, right? There is a black-eyed kids thing here. Where's that book? Hang on. How can you say I don't even know? Here we go. Here we are. Black-eyed Children, David Weatherly. This is the book to read, I'll tell you. Yeah, it'll scare the shit out of you, but it's very good. It's very good. Hello, Observer. How do you do? Hello, Rob R. Johnny. Rob R. Johnny. Rob R. Johnny. Yeah, I get it. I get it. Lance says, I can't say I believe a lot of this stuff you talk about, but would definitely be interested to sit next to you in a pub. Would you live in Oxford? You live in Oxford? We should meet up, mate. We should meet up. There we go. What's this? Are you familiar with the New Forest Cavern that had something to do with putting spells on Germans in the war at some cost to themselves? I was gifted a piece of equipment by one of them. Hi, Johnny. Oh, by the way, hello. Johnny, I haven't heard about that. I expect Michael Shrimpton will mention it because he was probably behind it. But I don't know, no. Oh yeah, Lance. I got an email. It's on the website. They can't do DMs on bloody YouTube anymore. What's the most haunted place in Oxford? I think it's Queen's Lane. This little alleyway. I think that's what it is. There's an entire book about ghosts of Oxford. And I've actually got a copy of it somewhere. And you can do a ghost tour as well. That's going to probably sold out this time of year. Now, I've got to tell you something else weird that happened on the Underground. Now, this is a bit different. I suppose this is not necessarily ghostly or spooky or Halloweeny, but it's about it's about a strange piece of synchronicity or coincidence. And there's this website. I've got to show it. I love the name here. Shady Old Lady. The Shady Old Lady Guide to London. I like that. That's a good name. Where are we now? Yeah. What happened was, okay. I don't need to read. I know this story. I don't need to read it verbatim. Oh, bloody hell. It's got a bloody ad. I'll forget it. I know the story anyway. Anthony Hopkins, famous Welsh actor. He's been in loads of things, Silence of the Lambs, etc., War and Peace, etc., etc. Sometime, I think it was in the 70s, sometime in the early 70s, he was researching his role in a film. And this film was being adapted by a chap who... by a chap who... They basically signed a contract to adapt his book into a film. But he actually didn't have a copy of the book. The book had been out of print for about 30 years. And the author didn't even have a copy himself. And so he said to Anthony, we're in a bit of a conundrum here because we're going to adapt the book. I'm not sure I can remember every single word of it. I probably can remember the basic story. But if you go around all the antiquated antique bookshops of London and see if you can find a copy of this damn book. Because, I've been meaning to. I used to have a copy of my own. I even made some notes in the margin because I was thinking of contacting a film producer and asking if to option the book. And I had you were a good guy. I thought you were a good guy to star in it. And Nancy said, okay. So he did a J.R. Hartley thing and went around all the damn bookshops in London. He couldn't find this really rare book. And so he said, damn it, I'm going to have to go back and tell this guy I failed, because are we going to be able to continue with this project unless we have a copy of the book? And so he walked down to Leicester Square tube station and he sat on a bench and he thought, oh, damn, feeling very dejected and because he'd failed. He happens to glance down beside him. There's a book lying on the bench beside him, like someone has just left it there, as people do sometimes. I leave old books lying around sometimes for people to read if I finish reading them. And he looks at it and he thought, I know that book. He picked it up. It's only a copy of the book he'd been looking for. This book that had been out of print for 30 years is so rare that all the little dusty little parchment shops in London didn't have it. And he opened it up and flicked through it. And you know what? He saw notes in the margin. Someone had been writing there, the handwriting that he recognised. It was the author's own copy. Now, of course, that's the sort of thing that you can't prove that's not coincidence. It's impossible to prove it's not coincidence. I mean, I've made this point before. The skeptics and the people who cry coincidence will not set a statistical ceiling above which they will stop crying coincidence, which means they can dismiss anything. Anything physically possible can be dismissed as coincidence. Even the really weird ones, like the guy this happened a long time ago. Chap was windsurfing off the coast of the Isle of Man. And he happened to open his mouth. He had dentures, and his dentures fell into the sea. He thought, damn it, I've lost my bloody false teeth. I'm going to have to go back to the dentist and get some more. They cost a bloody fortune. So anyway, this guy, he didn't live on the Isle of Man. He actually lived in Blackpool, I think, over on the coast of Lancashire. And so he went home dejected. Anyway, a few years later, he was wandering along the beach, and he saw something lying in the... You probably guess what it is. It's lying in the surf as the sea was coming in and out. Looked a bit familiar. He picked them up. They were a pair of dentures. They looked like his dentures. He put them in his mouth and they fitted. They were his dentures. They've been floating around the sea for like years and years and years and washed up on the beach. Not just washed up on any beach, washed up on the beach, about 100 miles away from where he lost them over on the Isle of Man, on the very beach where he happened to be, at the very moment he happened to be walking past. The skeptics will say, well, it's physically possible, so therefore it's a coincidence. You can't prove them wrong. David Schultz. Ben, have you ever visited the original Hellfire in West Wickham? They say it's very haunted. Yes, I made a video about it. I know because it's the last video I made before I got sacked. I know exactly when it was. It was in October of 2011. Here we are. I'll just show it to you. No, not Hellfire. Okay, hang on. Where is it? Oh, bloody hell. Here we are. David Schultz. It's here. 12th of October 2011, the day before my birthday and about a week before I got suspended. Here we go. And it's this before my life changed forever. I remember this well. Yeah, here I am.
Well, the hospital porter's providing tangential to
that's me in High Wycombe.
This is quite a busy, bustling town.
Yeah, that's me in High Wycombe. Right, where someone else is making a few comments here. So Rob R. Johnny says David Icke was handpicked by God to send humanity a message about the Matrix. I don't know about handpick's the word. It's more like how did he put it in his book? He was tested. Son of the Godhead, yeah. Right, here we go. That's what happened to Anthony Peake at Contact in the Desert. Oh, he did. He mentioned some. Are you talking about the coincidence? Are you talking about the synchronicity? He did mention. I can't remember all his talk at Contact, but he did a really good talk at Contact. I've not seen him live for bloody years. Indentured, yes. Yeah. Hello, John Fused. Yeah, we were watching that earlier. Yeah, go watch it. We saw a little bit of it. Hello, Goonlove. Rhiannon Raven says, Ben, there was a similar story about that in Fortune Times this month. A woman lost her handbag 30 years ago, and recently a girl found it on a bench and sent it to her. That is amazing, isn't it, Rhiannon? Yeah. These things happen more than you think. The problem is, like, the skeptics have identified her credit card found in the bag. Yeah. the skeptics will say it's a coincidence, but then you see, when you can caught, if you're ever caught by a skeptic who says that sort of thing is just a coincidence, you realise it can't be proved wrong. But then you can corner them. You can actually turn it back on them and say, well, okay, if I won the lottery 5 weeks in a row, would you believe that was a coincidence? And they will inevitably say, no, that's impossible. You couldn't. It's too unlikely. I mean, it's 13 million to 1 raised to the power of 5, which is such a huge number. You can't possibly contemplate it. And I say, okay, well, where's the cutoff point then? And they won't be able to answer you. Observer. What Halloween costume would you wear, Ben? Oh, right. Well, I went as David Icke. I'll show this. I've showed you this already, but I'll show it you again. I actually, one year, I went as David Icke. And I made a video about it. And I appeared in my costume in the video. There I am as David Icke, see? That's me. As David Icke. That's not the first time I've dressed as David Icke. Because if you see here, look, I dressed as... Oh, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll show it you on here. Hang on a sec. Let me just show you on them. Am I screen sharing? I hope so. Right. Let me just show you. Where is it? David Icke. I've got a David Icke portal, by the way, here. See, I have a David Icke portal on here. Here we are. David Icke has been to visit my house. Here, look. This is it. This is. I did this in 2008. It shows how long I've been into David Icke, doesn't it? Come on. Okay. When this picture appears, if it ever appears, you'll see me. Oh, hang on. Okay, the pictures don't want to appear, but let's try that one. All right, but look, you could see them anyway. There's me, there's David Icke, and there's look. See, I got kind of different coloured hair. It's kind of, oh, for fuck's sake, come on. Anyway, you could see me there, and I've got blonde. The hair's sort of like blonde. It's sort of off blonde, so it's not that good. But there we are. There's me in the garden. That's what I used to. That's the house I used to live in, and it's kind of a joke. It's kind of a joke. It's not real. It's just a kind of joke that I did. But that's 2008. You see how long I've been at David Icke. I miss David Icke, says Fouquet. He's still around. He's still here. David. Oh, hello, David. Splendid Isolation. How are you? No, it's green screen, or it's like the green screen effect. Let's have a look. I can't answer every single Hugh. David Icke looks about 80 now. Well, he's 72. Oh, Ray's met David Icke having a cup of tea in Derbyshire. All right. Anne Widdecombe. Do I look like Anne Widdecombe? Oh my goodness me. David Icke is scary. Well, it's sort of Halloween-y, doesn't he? Observer, can you do an impression? Can you do the David Icke mannerisms, Ben? Go on, give us an impression. Just a coincidence, nothing to worry about. Call the police and Canadian immigration. And what about these guards from the past? I can't. Here we go. Oh, what's this? Now show your Barack Obama. Oh, that! Oh my God! I will in a minute. Alan Raven, just do this one. Can you say women and girls in the style of David Icke? Women and girls. It's not as good. Oh yeah, let me just see. All right, I'll see if I can find it. But this is very controversial. The video, of course, has been banned. Oh, I don't know if I can bloody find it. Here we go. Here we go. The video has been removed, but it is in a. Here we go. There it is. All right. Okay. That's enough. I'll get this one banned. The video is still on. This video is still, of course, is on. The video is naturally it's on Alt Tech. It's on a video. The actual video on itself on its own is not there. However, it is. I have embedded it into another UFO disclosure video. I think it's the Julian Assange one. I can't remember. But I can't play it to you, unfortunately, simply because it's just too controversial. But yeah. Ray says, I've been researching this for the best part of 30 years. Hey, me too, mate. Me too. Slightly more, actually. Well, it depends when you say I really began, because I mean, when I was a little kid, I used to read like the Usborne Book of UFOs and things like that. All right, guys. So what's next? Yeah. Look, all right. I've got some notes. Let's go to my notes. Right. Ghost of the London Underground. I've done that one. Bedtime stories. Right. I'm not going to show you any videos of bedtime stories, but let's just see what bedtime stories are doing for Halloween this year. Rhiannon, did you see the new bedtime stories? Because I always just text Rhiannon saying new BTS. I just say that, and she knows there's a new one out. All right, what are they doing? I think they're doing right. Eerie Encounters with the Jinn. I've not seen that one yet. The Beast of Bolam Lake. Yeah. I think they're doing the Dyatlov Pass this year, which is interesting. But if you haven't seen this chapter, it's bloody good. They've got something on. Well, that's the thing that's the Isle of Wight creature. Yeah, that creature on the Isle of Wight, the Sandown Clown. But this is there's some bloody good stuff in here. There's also wartime stories, which is kind of like this. It's their sister channel. Yeah, wartime stories. This is also very good. This is it's like it charts supernatural phenomena, but it's in wartime, as the name suggests, in wartime. So, for example, there's the strange. Oh, Mr. Ballon is doing it now. Yeah, Mr. Ballon had his own channel, but he's doing this one now. But you see, there's the. Oh, look, that's that for the Solomon Giants. There's the Afghanistan Giants. Yeah, there's loads. There's those strange winged humanoids in Vietnam. There's giant spiders in Vietnam. There's the giant spiders in Vietnam. That's really scary. Mr. Ballon, has he still got his own channel? Because you like Mr. Ballon? There we go. This bloke, yes, he does some really good like paranormal stuff. This bloke here, he's got a good style. This guy, yeah, he's quite charismatic bloke. He's his ghosts, monsters, UFOs, that kind of thing. So check out Mr. Ballon as well. Oh, you couldn't see that, could you? Share the screen, Ben. All right, there we go. All right, there's Mr. Ballon. All right, I was sharing the screen at the wrong time. That's Mr. Ballon. Wartime stories. And then there's bedtime stories. And there's the latest one is the Beast of Bolam Lake, which is that's quite a scary one. That's about some people have seen some things at a place called Bolam Lake, which is in Northumberland. It's a peculiar one because many people report it as like a Bigfoot-like creature. Literally like a classic North American Bigfoot, which then, I mean, Deborah Hatswell is an expert on this sort of thing. She's seen one of them. I mean, the question is inevitably raised, and what is it exactly? Because I mean, Bolam Lake's a couple of acres, but we're not talking about some, a species of megafauna that could live without being detected in a place as densely populated as Britain. Whereas in North America, it's perfectly possible. But then the CFZ went there, the Centre for Fortean Zoology, to do a stakeout, and they saw it. But what they saw was something different. It was more like they describe it as being like a cutout, like a strange two-dimensional cutout shape running across the path in front of them without any features inside it. More like a kind of ghostly thing, which leads me to believe it's what Jonathan Downes calls sewer form phenomenon. But that's a really scary one, that is. How do you know if all the ghosts aren't going to gang up on you tomorrow, TK? Well, that's another reason for doing my live stream tonight, so that I can be prepared for them tomorrow. Because tomorrow is the day when the veil's thin between the worlds and the spirits of the dead come out and wander the streets and things like that. Yeah. But Halloween, well, what's the? Oh, hang on. It's because its origins. Its origins, I think, are it's pagan. Yeah. It's Halloween. It's Halloween means the evening before All Hallows Day. It's short for evening before All Hallows Day. All Hallows Day is November the 1st. But it can be found in like Anglo-Saxon Celtic culture, dating back very, very ancient times to prehistoric times, basically. Yeah. By the way, I'm very annoyed by the people. There's lots of people who are kind of against Halloween, and there's basically, they come in three varieties. One variety is the radical Christians who say it's demonic. I mean, Americans have to put up with this more than we Brits, because Halloween's a big thing in the United States, and of course there's a lot of Christians as well, and they say they won't let their kids go trick or treating because it's the devil and stuff like that. The second part is the backslappers. The backslappers who say, "Well, hey man, there's so much other things going on in the world, man, and only we can see it because we're the backslappers, and you're too inferior, so you celebrate Halloween because you're naive," and things like that. And the third variety is the people who say, "Well, look, because the Illuminati do human sacrifices on Halloween, we should have nothing to do with it," as if somehow we're contributing to that. I mean, I had a debate with someone who said, "You're assisting with the evil energy when you celebrate you do anything to do with Halloween." And this person almost went on to accuse me of being a bloody accessory to the horrific crimes of the Illuminati. And I said, "Are you seriously telling me if I watch like Ghost Watch, someone asked me about Ghost Watch earlier. Are you seriously telling me if I like go trick or treating or I go to a party, I'm somehow stuck together with, I'm somehow equal to people who do the most evil things to children?" Johnny, Rob R. Johnny says you should summon the devil at a meeting tomorrow. Ouija board. Oh right. Maybe we should. That's a Bottom reference, isn't it? Rick Mail. I'm going to raise the devil. In fact, I haven't been to church for a long time. When I did last time I went, I found it rather boring. I've got to watch the Halloween Bottom. Yeah, I'll do that. All right. Someone asked me about, what was it? Someone asked me about Ghost Watch. Yeah, I've done an entire. I might well watch this tomorrow night. Actually, I did an entire watch party for Ghost Watch, but Ghost Watch I thought it was bloody real. Did any of you watch Ghost Watch live? Here we go. Here we go. Oh, I did one for the 30th anniversary, in 2022, 30th anniversary. There we go. Yeah, a YouTube live stream discussing for Halloween the very controversial 1992 Halloween film Ghost Watch and any other related subjects. I met the guy who directed it. He was at that SAP 2011. Yeah. Phuket says the clocks go back and every fucker on his dog goes driving. Well, I turned up late for the Apollo Detectives, and but I did manage to get Ashton Forbes live. Yeah. DJ B2. I watched this John Cusack film Cell. Cell, is that a good film? Is that a Halloween film? Let's Google it. Google is your friend. 2000 science fiction horror film directed by Tarsum Singh, starring Jennifer Lopez, Vince Vaughn. Oh, it doesn't have John Cusack apparently, according to this. Or does it? No, it doesn't. It has Jennifer Lopez, Vince Vaughn, and Vincent D'Onofrio. Is this it? Isn't it? There must be another one. Hugo Rune says Gotthard tunnel opening. Oh, that was creepy, wasn't it? Oh, the CERN tunnel opening. Oh, Hugh, that was the. Oh, you're talking about the ballet, yeah. But But there was a very spooky. Gotthard that opening, yeah. Very demonic, lots of portals and things like that. Oh, someone mentioned this. Lance Corporal. Have you heard of the YouTube channel Wartime Stories? Lots of paranormal stuff. Yeah, we were just talking about that. This is the Gotthard I was just talking about that, Lance. You might have been out of the room, but it's the sister program to. There's some of this stuff is brilliant, actually. The Giants of Afghanistan, the winged humans. It's like the winged humanoids of Vietnam. It's basically the strange deaths, the Russian thing, yeah. And Mr. Ballon, I mentioned that Mr. Ballon is doing it. He's the presenter now, and Mr. Ballon has his own channel. I've heard of some of these things. The Kersey time slip incident, I've heard of, yeah. And lots of UFO stuff, and it's basically it's like bedtime stories, but it's especially from incidents in war. And I mentioned Mr. Ballon. This is another good channel. This guy, I showed this earlier, but I'll show it again. This guy has some brilliant videos on paranormal UFOs and stuff like that. Beast, monsters, Bigfoot, etc. He's a very good presenter, and he does a very good show. And he does disappearances and stuff as well. Very, very good stuff. Yeah. So what's this? So this film Cell is not the one I'm thinking of. Yeah. All right. So any more questions? I can't share your comment there, Sparkus. But Sparkus says I'm going to be ingesting a certain substance and sitting in a cemetery tomorrow night. But Sparkus, make sure there's someone with you to hold your hand. Seriously. Tessa, hello, Tessa. Nightmare Before Christmas, presidential election. Well, we'll find out on Tuesday, Tessa. Maybe you and I will disagree over the outcome of it all, but I will be talking about that. 69 Phuket. Samuel L. Jackson is in literally everything. He's in some good films, Sammy. Yeah, he's Lance says, "What's your Discord, if you don't mind me asking?" It's just it's not. I don't have one for Hapanmo TV, but I've got one for Hapanmo Radio. I've joined. Oh, I'm now. By the way, I'm now. I'm a Patreon of the Y-Files. This is probably my favorite YouTube channel, apart from my own, of course. This is so good. I mean, I don't know what they'll be doing a Halloween special as well. This channel is brilliant. I've just become a Patreon, which means I am allowed into their Discord and things like that, and I get previews and stuff. So it's £7 a month, and actually, there's so many I could sub to, but I can't afford it. But I've just decided to sub to this one. If you've not seen it, it's humorous. It's something children could enjoy as well. It's got Hecklefish, who's like really funny. He's this funny little talking goldfish. There's AJ, the presenter there. Yeah. Oh, this man. Yes. Oh God, this man. I could talk about. Oh, what's happened now? I'm probably off now at the moment. All right. Am I back? Oh, hello. Did I disappear for a moment? All right. I love Hecklefish too. Yeah. Lizard people. Whoa, lizard people. David, could Kamala be a witch? She's too nice. Witches are too nice to be her. She's too evil to be a witch, I think. Have you heard her laughing? She's got a horrible laugh. And it's not just the way she laughs, it's when she does it. She was laughing at the same time as Hurricane Milton had killed like 27 people, And Trump was like he'd actually sent aid and things like that, and she was like sitting around and laughing. Yeah, faux laughter, Tessie. She's horrible. She's got this evil laugh. But DJ V2 confirmed Ben likes talking fish. Well, DJ, how else am I supposed to get intelligent conversation in this world? Right then, what's next on my notes? I've done bedtime stories. Oh, my own story. Yes, is Nathan still there? I probably won't bother telling this unless Nathan's still there. But I've got my own ghost story. Is Nathan Lucia still in the chat? Post Nathan if you're still there, because I mean I did tell this story on Fockham Hall Radio, which is a great name, that, which I was the podcast I did with Chris, and this guy. He's an old guy. He's quite good. He's a lovely chap, quite an old chap who does this brilliant YouTube. All right, I'll tell the story anyway. This story was told to me when I was a little kid by a man who was a friend of my dad, and his son went to my school with me, and I knew his son quite well. But basically, this was one of the. Oh, Nathan, yeah, he's still. Oh, cool, brilliant. Sat with your daughter. Oh, well, I hope she enjoys it too, Nathan. And Nathan knows the story because I told it on Chris's channel the other night. And he told me about something that it hadn't happened to him. He'd heard it from someone else, or he'd heard it from someone who'd heard it from someone, etc., etc., etc. So I can't vouch for its authenticity. But this was it was a dark and stormy night. Only kidding. I don't know if it was a dark and stormy night. I don't know whether it was night or day. I don't know when it happened. But the person who witnessed this incident, was staying at a hotel, which is in a very old building. It happened a long time before the time when it happened a long time ago, because I was a little kid when I heard this. And the man who told me said this happened a long time ago. So it must have happened a very long time ago. He was staying at this hotel in the middle of the countryside in a remote area. And this was a very old building. It had only been a hotel for a short time, or for some time. But before it was a hotel, it was a monastery. It was an ancient monastery in the medieval era. And he was on his own in this library, and these old places had these big libraries with leather-bound books across the shelf and stuff like that. There was an open fire crackling in the grate, very atmospheric, that sort of thing. And he was completely on his own, and everyone else was out, or they were in a different part of the hotel. And this man walks in. He wasn't transparent, and he wasn't carrying. His face wasn't a skull or anything like that. He just looked like a normal man. The only thing that was unusual about him was his hairstyle looked a bit retro, a bit old-fashioned, and he was wearing a monk's. He was wearing a monk's cassock. And the man said, he said, "Hello, good evening." And the man said, "Good evening." Had a completely normal voice. He didn't sort of like go, "Oh, good evening," or anything like that. He looked completely solid, although in all the time they didn't shake hands or anything like that. And all the time this man was with him, they didn't touch each other. Now, this monk person said, "Hello there. I was wondering if you could do me a favor." And the man said, "What?" And he said, "On the top of the bookshelf, just there's a folder. It's an old folder full of old documents. Could you bring it down for me?" And he said, "Yeah, sure." So this man got a. I mean, because these bookshelves are really big, because this was the days when people used to read books more than they do now. So all these big houses had these big, tall bookshelves. And so he got a ladder and he climbed up this. It's a little step ladder like you get in libraries. And there was a lot of dust up there, and the dust came down. It was obviously this folder was very old. It was an old card manila folder, and inside were these dry, crumpled pieces of paper, obviously very old, yellow, from age. And he brought it down and he handed it to the monk. He held it out to the monk, and the monk said, "No." He recoiled. He put his hands up. No. I don't want them." And he says, "What do you want me to do with them?" He says, "Could you throw them on the fire?" And the man says, "You want me to destroy these?" And he says, "Yes, please. Would you do it?" And the man, he looked at me. He didn't open the folder and look at the documents, but he said, "I mean, these look quite old. I mean, they could be very valuable. They could be historic." And the monk said, No, please, just throw them on the fire, burn them, destroy them." Now, this is one of these instances. It's rather like what Jenny Randall calls the Oz factor relating to UFOs. That when people have these encounters, they're not always thinking in their normal way. I mean, I brought up the example of the black-eyed kids, and David Weatherly brings this up in the book. And I described the character in my story. I described the way he's put into an altered state of mind when he's in the presence of this black-eyed child. You see, I'm sure everyone would have said in that situation, well, no, I'm sorry, I'm not burning these. I'm going to keep them. But the man did. But the man felt compelled to obey this monk's instruction, and so he walks over and he throws the folder onto the fire, and it burns. And the monk says, "Thank you very much," and he just walks out without another word. Now, when this man reported this story to the people, the other guests, and to the hotel staff, they said, "Oh, you just saw the ghost. That's our resident ghost." I said, "What? Yeah, he's a ghost. He appears every so often. He's quite rare, but he still pops up and people sometimes see him. We believe he's a monk who used to be housed here in the old days." And when the man told him exactly what the monk wanted him to do, and the other people said, "Whoa, that's strange," and the man said, "Well, what was in those documents? What were in those documents that someone put on the top shelf of the library?" And the man said, "We don't know. We don't know who put them there. Been up there a long time. We don't know what they were." And now no one will know because the documents were destroyed. But whatever was in that folder, it was so important that someone came back from the dead to instruct someone to destroy them. And that's my Halloween ghost story. Sleep tight. Now, yeah. Has anyone else got anything? That's everything in my notes. Does anyone else have anything they want to talk about? Now's the time to bring it up. Sparkicus, like black-eyed kids. I can't condone hitting children. I think you're joking. You know what I mean, don't you? DJ P2. Those documents were the Jimmy Savile evidence file. I don't think so, DJ. I don't think a ghost is necessary to cover those up. I think the police and the BBC and the government are quite capable of doing that without any supernatural intervention. TK says, "I have some notes also, Benjamin." Oh, Benjamin. No one calls me Benjamin. The last person who called me Benjamin was my mother when she was angry with me. But go ahead, TK. Let's hear it. The monkey's paw is a good story. I don't know that one. But feel free to post a ghost story and make it short. Make it as short as possible, obviously, because unfortunately I can't entertain everyone's ghost story if they're as long as mine was. I mean, I've seen ghosts a few times. I mean, I've made separate videos about them. I don't need to. 69 Phuket. It was me who called you Benjamin, was it? No, it's TK. The most interesting one I've had. I mean, I've made videos about the ghosts I've seen. The boy kneeling on the floor of the bedroom. I mean, like I said, you can't. I say ghosts. I can't prove these weren't figments of my imagination. But the most interesting one. Oh, right. It was you. Are you TK then? All right. But the most interesting one was one which is hard to explain as imagination because it refers to a observer. Was the folder a draft copy of Roswell Rising? If so, then I must have sent it back in time because this happened before I was born. Because I was a little kid when I was a little kid when I heard this story, and the person who told it me said it happened long ago at the time. Oh, Phuket did it a few videos back. All right, then. Well, you can call me Benjamin if you want. I don't mind. I've been called worse things. Oh, right. Phuket says he called you Benjamin since your mother did. Oh, right. Okay, I see. I must have forgotten. Fair enough, Phuket. Well, you can call me that. I've been called much worse things. This was when I first started dating my last partner, Sue Astain, who I was very much in love with her, actually. We were together for 8 years. But shortly after I started dating, I think it was the third or fourth visit when I went to go and see her in Nottingham where she lived. I used to get the train regularly there and back. I was on my way back. It was it was November 2008, so this would have been just about 2 months after I'd started seeing her. I saw... I was sitting on the train and I was in a sort of half asleep state. And my vision was sort of blurred because I was in this half asleep state. And I saw straight ahead of me, I could see the reflection of a man standing in the aisle of the train looking at me. Do you know what it's like when you're on a train and it's dark outside? The windows are like mirrors, you know. You might see a light passing outside, but generally you can't see much outside. And so I was like sitting there, and I realised he was this guy wearing a bar steward's jacket. It was a middle-aged man, thin hair, wearing a bar steward's jacket, like the tunic with the white buttons. And I thought, oh, who's that? But he just stood there in the aisle of the train. And DJ Beecher, yes, I was probably hypnagogic. I was in a half asleep state. And you could argue that I imagined it, and a skeptic would and will. But what's strange is that when I snapped out of that state, he vanished. He'd just gone. I could see him out the corner of my eye. And when I went to see Sue again, the third time I went to see Susan, my partner, she gasped like that. And she went and got a photo album. She opened it up and she showed me an old black and white picture of a man, sort of 50, aged about 50, thin hair, white bar steward's jacket, standing behind a bar in a hotel. And she said, "Is that the man you saw?" And I said, "Looks like him. Yeah, it could be. My eyes were a bit blurred, but it does look like the man I saw." And she said, "That's my dad. He died in 1988. It was a thunderclap moment, It was a thunderclap moment, Again, I had not seen that photograph before this happened. I didn't know what her father looked like. If it is her father, I mean, it makes sense in a way. It means that these spirits actually you can ascertain certain things about the spirits, that some of them at least maintain an identity of who they were in their previous incarnation. In other words, they remember who they were before they died, and not only so they have memories of the life they led, and they have the ability to interact with our world, the world they left behind. And he's doing what I'm sure when I pop off, I'll do. What's he going to do? He's going to be worried about his daughter that he's left behind. He's going to want to know. He's going to be concerned for her welfare, which means he's going to be watching very carefully the men who hang around with her boyfriends. I think he was following me around. I just happened to see him at that moment because I was in that hypnagogic state. I hope I met with his approval. What about black goo on Halloween? Oh, black goo! Not the black goo. All right. The man who sounds like David Icke. It wasn't David Icke. All right. So that's it. Any other questions or comments? I mean, I should answer a question about Paranormal Radio. Okay. For those of you, I know some of you in the chat, you also listen to me on my audio show, Paranormal Radio. It's off the air at the moment because I've cancelled my Spreaker subscription because I can't stand the bastards, because they've completely trashed their own service. It's now they've bit by bit over the last couple of years, it's gone downhill big time, and they're still charging me money for it. So yeah. Red Snapper. Was the Falklands War fought over black goo? Yes. I'll just let you know, because I did a special live stream about it, I believe. Here it is. Just to answer this question, Falklands War 40th anniversary live stream, and I did a special Paranormal Radio show as well, which is still on my podcast. See, there it is. So you can listen to that as well if you like. It's that Spreaker link might die soon. It depends, because I'm going to revert to the free account, but it's on archive.org as well. And archive.org is back, I'm pleased to say. It is actually working again, which is nice. So you can get it from there. You can download it from there if you like. But anyway, I cancelled my the last. I mean, I think they crossed the line when. I mean, Rhiannon and David will remember this. Last time I tried to do a live show, it wouldn't work, and so I reported it as a fault. And they wrote back saying, no, there's nothing wrong. We just no longer allow live streaming on the broadcaster account. Just not so much as a buy a leave. No apology, nothing. Just, we've changed it so you can't do these live shows anymore. We're still charging you £17.50 a month, but you don't mind, do you? And I thought, yes, I bloody do mind, you bastards. And so I dropped the fucker. So I immediately said, that's it, cancelling subscription. And so on I think it's the 18th of next month, that's the end of my broadcaster account. So I'm trying to find a new home for Paranormal Radio. What I'm going to do is, I've been looking into using probably this Odyssey, not this channel. I'm going to set up a new channel. I'm not going to mix a Paranormal TV and radio. But I'm going to possibly using Odyssey and Rumble. I'm thinking of calling the channel Paranormal Media rather than Paranormal Radio, just so that just to distinguish it from just so it leaves my options open of what I can upload there or post there, I think. Okay, so any more? Someone asked me a question. What was it? Oh, Ben, this is Sparkus. What did you watch the Joe Rogan podcast with Trump? If so, your thoughts. I did watch it, and I'll say more about that on the next. I'll say more about that, I think, on the next live stream, which is going to be on Saturday and Sunday. I'm doing a double live stream. One will be YouTube for all you sort of like Kamala Harris supporting simps. And then the hardcore party will be on the Sunday, which will be on Alt Tech only, because we need to get a little bit politically incorrect. We need to talk about things you can't talk about on YouTube, like that certain letter of the alphabet, the one that comes after the 16th one and before the 18th one, which you can't talk about on YouTube. Nathan, yeah, they're not exactly truth friendly, are they? Apparently, StreamYard. Red Snapper says, could you use StreamYard? I could. I mean, that's an option. I'd have to, but apparently, according to well, I don't. He's not my favorite person in the world, but he's a kind of. He I suppose is a kind of favorite hate watch of mine, Stephen Cambion. He said he's given up StreamYard because they're going the same way. They've like doubled their prices and they've cut their services. They've reduced their service. So I'm not using Spotify or any of these things which are like podcast only. I'm not using anything that has no download button. The essential things are the ability to stream live, download button, and what's the third one? There's another one. I can't remember what it was. Anyway, I've made a list of requirements. I'm going to look into possible platforms. Yeah. It'd probably be Odyssey. Actually, I'm gravitating towards an Odyssey channel, just a Paranormal Media. I know Trolls. I'm sure the Trolls are setting up a one with that particular title now already, but I'll make sure you know which one is the right one when it comes about. Right. So, yeah, Nathan. I think it sounds like a concerted effort to stem information, increase censorship. It's weird how so many social media platforms are becoming so incredibly user unfriendly. I mean, it's a terrible business model, isn't it? We're gonna have this business, and we're gonna make things as difficult as possible for our customers. We're gonna be as unpleasant as possible to our customers. You know, it might go the same as that. There was a quite a funny incident. This will make you laugh. Rihanna, and this will make her laugh. There's someone set up a feminist cafe somewhere. Women only, but only women were allowed to work there, and women were encouraged to be the customers. Men weren't allowed to come in, where they did deem men to enter. But whenever a man came in and bought something, they would be charged what they call a man tax, which means they would be charged more for the same product. Now, everyone was really angry about this. When I heard about it, everyone on Facebook was saying, I'm going to report them to the Chamber of Commerce. That's against the law, and et cetera, which of course it is. But I just said, like, well, no, wait a minute. And sure enough, the business folded within a couple of months. I mean, it's not really a very good business model, is it? Well, we're going to, so the cafe had to shut eventually. And they've got no one to blame but themselves. Hello, Sebastian Moran. How are you? Welcome. Rihanna, if it was a feminist cafe, then only men would be allowed to work there, and they would get less than the minimum wage. I expect men were allowed in occasionally to unblock the toilets and clean the floors and all the disgusting, demeaning jobs that are beneath women. You know. Oh, yeah, they're all in favour of equality when it comes to business executives. But no, the men can carry on fighting the wars and mining the coal and things like that. I mean, on my job, I did a dirty, low-paid, unglamorous job. I mean, I didn't consider it low status. I thought it was the ultimate high-status job. But hospital portering is 95% percent plus male, and it always has been. Yeah. Yeah, so I'll see how we are living. We're going to talk about that. Yeah, because you notice how Trump brought the subject up, didn't you? I did an article about that. I wrote an article about it on a Paranormal Voice a couple of days ago, and I will be bringing it up on the weekend because on the Saturday and Sunday live streams. So take a look out for those. But anyway, guys, is there anything else you want to bring up? Because if not, we can call it a night, I think. Does anyone have anything they want to talk about? Feel free to speak out. Hughes says here, right, Trump's controlled opposition. I don't agree, but I'll say more on the live stream. I hope you can join us. I'll say more on the live stream on the weekend. Take care. See you, Ray. Take care. Are you a pagan, Ben? No, I'm not. A pagan is like, I'd have to be a pagan. I'd have to say I'm into druidry and things like that, or Wiccan. I'm not. I like those faiths. I'm interested in them. I like them. All the best, Ferdy. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for joining us, guys. And so, Red Snapper, what's it say? Do you think we'll see more female HPs in the future? Well, they're very welcome. I mean, I'm not like a Meg Tower or anything. I don't mind if they join. If as long as they can do the job and they're capable of doing the job, and indeed women are. I think there were some good women porters. One of them was a shift partner of mine. She was a good woman. David, we're going to talk about that, about Napolitano and his conversation with Trump and the JFK files. We will take that up, yeah. Night, Spartacus. Night, Hugo. Thanks for joining us. Oh, 69 Fuka. I was waiting for my next Theo's video. I'll say all about that. You're welcome, Nathan. No, thanks for joining us. So yeah, when's the Trump show? I'll put up probably Saturday and Sunday. They'll be doing two. The first one will be YouTube. The second one Alt Tech. Night, David. Night, David. But I'll put the notice up on Friday probably, or tomorrow. You're welcome, Hugo. Night, Phuket. Night. Thanks for joining us, guys. Thank you very much. Is there anything I've missed out? Night. And night, Rhiannon. Night, Red Snapper. Night, TK. Night, See How We Are Living. Night, Huge Arsehole. I love that name. Night, Nathan. Phuket. David Schultz. Observer. Sebastian Moran. And DJ B2. And if I missed anyone else out, night, Arianon. Aziraphale. Night, Aziraphale. Give my love to the angels up in heaven. Especially the really obnoxious ones, like Gabriel. Yeah, thanks, Ariana. Yeah, hit the like button, guys. Night, Sebastian. Night, see where I live in. And take care, everyone. And thank you, all of you, for watching. And remember, tomorrow night, like I said, I won't be doing it live streaming tomorrow night because I want to enjoy Halloween privately and my own way as well. So I want to just make some horror films and watch some horror movies and stuff like that, and pretend to be out when the trick or treat is cool, and have a really lovely, spooky, creepy Halloween, all of you. Remember, it's the veil's thin between the worlds, but make sure you stay on the right side of the veil. We don't want anyone getting 411. All right, take care. Hospital Porters, pride and dignity. Stop the New World Order.